Alright, so as you can see, I have three classes: the Shuffle class, the Shuffled Results class, and the Program.cs. And the challenge is to create a randomized list that does not repeat. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to implement the Fisher-Yates sorting algorithm. And to do that, I'll start off by creating a static read-only random class. The reason for this is so that it does not create many instances of the random class. Next up, I'm going to create a generic shuffle class that's going to take a generic array. I'm going to instantiate an integer and set it to be the length of the array. Next, I'm going to do a for loop, and I'm going to set it to be I equal to 0, or I is 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. Int r is going to be set to random.next n minus I. That generic t will be set to the array of r. Next up, we're going to do a swap on the array with the temporary array. So array r and then array I. And finally, that array I is going to be set to that generic array. And this is a very simple implementation of the Fisher-Yates algorithm. Next up, in the Shuffled Results class, what we're going to do is we're going to create a public list that's going to take an integer value. We're going to call it Shuffled Results. And it's going to take two lists, main and secondary. And I'll explain why here in a few moments. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an array, an integer array, and we're going to convert the main list to be an array. Next, we're going to call the shuffle class and utilize the Fisher-Yates algorithm. Next, we're going to do a variable called converted, and we're going to set it to be the array that we created from the main list and set distinct to list. And what distinct does is it removes any repeated values. Next up, I'm going to do a for each loop, and I'm going to set the secondary list to be each item in that converted list. Finally, in the main program file, we're going to create the static void main method. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our main list, and we're going to instantiate it with values to it. In this case, it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 5, 7, 7, 7, 7, 3, 9, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21. And then we're going to create our secondary list. That's set to the value of int. And this one is just going to be instantiated but have no values to it. We're going to call that Shuffled Results class, and we're going to name it Shuff, just because it's simple. And instantiate it. And then we're going to do shuffle dot shuffled results, and then we're going to put our main list and our secondary list. And next up, we're going to do a simple for loop. For int I is set to 0, I is less than secondary.count, I plus plus. And the reason for secondary.count is because we want the secondary results instead of the main one, since secondary is the one that's fully randomized. And then we're just going to write line each individual item. And then don't forget to write a console.readline so we can read. And then we're going to run the program. As you can see, the results are randomized and nothing repeats. So how about we run it one more time? And again, nothing repeats.